Okay, I'd like to call to order this February 18th, 2021 meeting of the Springfield Historic Commission. Commissioners Walsh, McFarland, Finn, and Kroll are in attendance. We have no tabled items. Let me just go over the public commentary. Many of you have heard this, but we got to hear it a couple more times. In order to enable municipal government to continue its important work during the COVID-19 pandemic while assuring both city employees and the citizens can satisfy CDC social distancing guidelines, City of Springfield is providing public notice that it will conduct a public hearing using remote technology. Copies of said petitions, texts, and maps may be requested by email or phone. Email should be directed to the Office of Planning and Economic Development at aallen@springfieldcityhall.com. That's A-Allen, or by calling 413-787-6020. To view the public hearing, it's on the Focus Springfield Community TV website. Public comment will be taken in two segments. The first public comment period will take place prior to the meeting discussion. The second public comment period will take place after the meeting and will remain open for 24 hours after the meeting. To provide for public comment in writing, mail Springfield Historic Commission, 70 Tapley Street, Springfield, 01104, or email aallen@springfieldcityhall.com. And to provide for public comment by voicemail, number is 413-750-3223. Messages received, we play at the Historic Commission hearing or at any continued hearing date. All commenters should state their name, address, and company or organizational affiliation in addition to the items their comments pertain to. Just a reminder that when any either petitioners or people speaking for the petitioners, just please give us your name and address when you begin for the record. Okay, we have continued public hearings, 176 Florida Street. That's an application for certificate of appropriateness for a roof-mounted solar array of 29 panels on 3 separate roofs. We do have was there any other public commentary, Alvin, other than the letter I have in my hand?
We only received one letter from Mr. David Gaby.
Okay, let me, it's a long one, but I'm going to read it into the record. It's the Springfield Historic Commission, care of the Planning Department, 70 Tapley Street, Springfield, regarding 176 Florida Street application to install rooftop photovoltaic panels. Dear sirs, this follows my review of plans submitted for the installation of an elaborate PV solar generation system at 176 Florida Street. As it happens, at the McKnight CDC, we have been working in the field of transforming our community potential use of solar energy, including PV electric generation, for several years. Although our adaptive preservation program, and in fact, were awarded funds to pursue this work by the U.S. Department of Energy, I have been selected to be team leader for this work and was paid to travel to Washington, D.C. to present our work in Springfield. In addition to the CDC is continuing to work in this field on ways to develop the potential for solar energy without ruining our architectural heritage for transient benefits. Based on our research and work in the field, we find that the technology is evolving rapidly and that new developments may be making the installation of traditional box-type solar collectors virtually obsolete. Therefore, I would make the following observations, which are mine alone, and I do not represent the McKnight CDC, which has not had a chance to discuss this proposal as a group. First, due to the adoption of one or more progressive net metering arrangements by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, homeowners no longer need to locate collectors on their rooftops. They can instead locate them elsewhere, which may be much more efficient given the complicated geometry of Victorian roofs, either in a private arrangement or as part of a community solar installation, and get credit for the power produced against their utility bill. The CDC is in fact working on developing such a facility in McKnight, but the petitioners can probably join any project anywhere in the Eversource Western Mass zone. Second, new and more advanced B1 PV, I'm not sure, products are being brought into the market by a number of manufacturers, including perhaps most by predominantly Tesla, which integrate the solar collection into the roof, blending the solar collecting into the design of the houses. Tesla product can now be ordered via the Tesla website. Finally, unlike the installation I advocated for on Mattoon Street. The proposed installation will be very visible, but clearly detract from the architecture of the house and undermine the architectural character of the house and of Upper Florida Street. In addition, is likely temporary and will have to be removed at the end of its useful life in approximately 20 years. Given these facts, I cannot support the petition under either appropriateness or hardship. If the alternatives are not superior to the proposed installation, then they soon will be, given the rapid rate of innovation in the solar field. I would therefore urge the commission to reject this petition and avoid setting the precedent of continuing to authorize this type of solar installation at a time less intrusive and potentially superior options are rapidly coming into the market, and where, if approved, this installation would mar our historic architecture for decades. Thank you for this opportunity to express my views on the petition. I am sincerely yours, David P. Gaby, designer and preservationist. There was no other public commentary?
No other public commentary on this particular item.
Okay. Now, a couple of the questions we had regarding it were the placement. Who's here to speak on this petition?
Hello, sir. My name is Jerry Isaacs. I go by Tony. I work for Bright Planet Solar. I'm representing the homeowner, Mr. Hector Rivera at 176 Florida Street.
Okay. Because a couple of the questions that we had in the first hearing were regarding the placement of electrical boxes and the potential to paint conduit to make, to match the house.
Well, we actually came up with some solutions. On the roof, what we're going to do, instead of actually running conduit down the side of the house, we're going to do a solar deck, is what it is called, on top of the roof. It's going to be mounted underneath the solar panels. So once the solar panels are actually mounted, this solar deck will be hidden by one of the solar panels.
Okay.
And the wires will be inserted through this solar deck, which is going to drill directly into the roof, and it'll be duct sealed up, so there'll be no leakage or anything of that nature.
Okay.
Then we're going to run the wires from the roof straight through the basement and then out the back of the house. That way it'll connect directly to the electrical equipment in the rear of the house. The only equipment that'll be on the side of the house is their existing meter now. Plus, we're going to have to add a disconnect, which the fire department requires to be near the actual meter. So if they have to shut anything off, it'll be able to be shut off from the meter.
Do any commissioners have any questions or for the petitioner or the petitioner's representative?
Hey, Tony, Walter Kroll. It's hard to see on the design. So the front roof, is that on the second floor porch roof in the front that faces the street?
Give me 1 second just to look into those plans. I have them on a different page here. And no, sir, it looks like they're not going to be on that porch roof. No, sir.
So when you're looking at the house from the street, all the panels are going to be up on the highest roofs, so to speak, which are primarily facing the neighbors, so to speak. Is that right?
That is correct, sir. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And just one other question. So you're saying the solar deck, it's going to be hidden underneath the panels themselves. So if I am from the street at an angle and I'm seeing the panels, does that mean I'm not going to see piping connecting all the panels underneath the roof? I'm not going to see this infrastructure?
Exactly. The only pipe that you would see at all would be the pipe that's going to run the disconnect to the actual meter to shut that down. And then a little bit of piping in the rear of the house in between the electrical equipment that they'll be putting back there. So everything else will be ran inside of the house with no conduit.
And the panels are essentially flat, parallel to the roof?
No more than 6 inches above the roof. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, couple of things relative to our guidelines. This is the minimum of 2 feet of roof surface should be visible on all sides surrounding the array. And the lowest, the profile should be kept as low as possible. The guidelines suggest running parallel to the roof, sit no more than 3 inches above the roof surface. Is that a possibility?
Well, due to the heat that solar panels produce, they require you to be 4 to 6 inches above the equipment that we install. I can actually speak with our warehouse manager and our operations manager to see if there's any way to lower the panels down. The feet that they actually sit the panels on after it's installed, they do have slots where they are adjustable up and down. So that would be up to the crew on site. After
I mean, I'd be curious, Tony, I'd be curious that if the proper operation means, if it's unsafe to have it under 4 inches, I certainly don't want an unsafe installation. I just don't, I'd never heard that before when we did guidelines. Our guidelines just happened to say no more than 3 inches. And obviously that's just to keep the, make.
The aesthetics are good.
Yeah, for the look of the roof. Also, the technology equipment should not be visible from the public way. Obviously, this is going to be visible.
Yes, sir.
Not permanently change or damage features. I apologize. I wish I could. Well, it doesn't really matter if you can see me or not. I'm just reading. I have to reread this just to.
Yeah, take your time, sir. No problem at all.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That minimizes should be placed in a location that minimizes visibility from any public right of way and will not be permitted on historic building elevations that front on a public street. I'm just looking back through, I'm just looking to the pictures or the renderings that you gave us. Okay, well. Any other commissioners have any more questions?
I do. Tony, the installation underneath the solar panels that you talk about that allows you to go directly into the roof with the conduit as opposed to going down on the perimeter of the building, does that in fact raise the height of those collector panels at all?
None at all, sir.
Okay.
Like I said, the solar panels will sit maximum of 4 to 6 inches above the roof. The solar deck is maybe 2 1/4 inches high. That's how far that will stick off of the roof. So it'll definitely be under a solar panel. No one will see it whatsoever.
Minimize visibility. And these, I think they explained it last week or 2 weeks ago that directionally, this is the only viable places to put these panels.
Yes.
That's correct.
That is correct. Our design team actually looked at it, and by where the roofs are and the azimuths, that's going to be the best placement of the panels. And also with it being the style of roof it is, that's the best way they could get the panels designed to be on the roof.
Okay. The other issue that came up after I was reviewing these solar panel guidelines under our outdoor mechanical equipment guidelines,
okay,
is it seems like you're running them right to the edge of the roof and right to the valley.
Let me see this here.
Which is one of the things we were also trying to avoid.
All right, so you guys would require 2 foot setbacks from all edges, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so we can get that designed. That may end up dropping some of the panels from the roof. I'm not really sure, but that's not my department. All I can do is forward that to the design department to see what they could do if that's requirement you guys are requesting. That would be the department I would send this to, so that way they could have that done.
Okay. I mean, we could vote to continue again. What's our, hold on, let me just find our date on this one. This is January 12th was the date received. So that gives us one more meeting before we have to vote. Correct? Correct me if I'm wrong, Alvin.
That's correct.
Okay. I mean, we can take a vote today, or if you I would prefer, I mean, take a vote on the installation today. I would prefer that you tried to get a little closer to the guidelines. If
Okay.
there's a design that can meet those guidelines a little better. I think you take a look at that. If you want, I would ask for a motion to continue one more time to the next meeting.
I'd like to make a motion to continue this matter until the next meeting.
Okay, is there a second on that motion?
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? All in favor? Let me get the roll here. Walter, Commissioner Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Finn,
Yes.
Commissioner McFarland,
Yes.
and Commissioner Walsh is yes. So we're going to continue that, just get a few more details, and we'll take a vote at the next meeting.
Okay, and when would the next meeting be?
It's on March 4th.
All right, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you guys very much. You guys have a great day, and
Appreciate it.
all set with the meeting.
Yeah, you're all set. We're all
Thank
set.
you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great day. I'll see you on March 4th.
Okay. All right, next is replacement windows, 96 Sumner Avenue. There's a petition to replace 4 windows, no structural change. Who's here to speak on this one?
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Chris
Oh,
Mayweather,
Chris. Hi,
Lowe's
Chris.
Home Improvement at 1560 Boston Road, Springfield.
Okay. All right, it says 4 windows with no structural change. What's the material? Is there material change?
They're all wood windows, and I spoke to the contractor installing them, and I also verified it when I took the pictures and sent them in.
Yeah.
That they're built with a slanted sill to fit a slanted sill, so they're just going to be like a simple pocket replacement. So it's going to come in and out, and they're custom windows with a slanted sill to fit in there.
Okay.
And are the replacement windows wood as well?
Yes.
And the design, I can see it's an exterior mounted grill. They're not identical in replacement, but they appear to be very close.
Yes.
Any commissioners have any questions on this? Hearing none. I'd entertain a motion to accept the application for certificate of appropriate 96 Sumner Avenue to replace the 4 windows with the wood, the models that have been presented.
So move.
Okay, is there a second on the motion?
A second.
Okay. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, let me call the vote. Commissioner Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Finn,
Yes.
Commissioner McFarland,
Yes.
and Commissioner Walsh, yes. So you're approved for those.
All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Now, can I ask a question? This is my first time dealing with
Yep,
this.
you sure can.
So now that I got the approval, I just submit the building application and the permit payment to them, and you guys talk to them or whatever. Everything's
Alvin, you'll take care of that.
Yeah, once you get the building permit, I can sign off on the permit for you.
perfect. All right, gentlemen. Thank you very much for your time. I
All
appreciate
right,
it.
thank you.
Thank you.
And Commissioner Walsh, I apologize, but we did not receive public comment for 96 Sumner Avenue.
Well, I'm counting on you to throw that in if we do.
All right.
Okay, 100 Marengo Park. This is an application for a certificate of hardship to remove 13 current windows, install 13 new vinyl windows, no other changes. Going to white exterior due to brown exterior windows being a 40% increase in price. I believe we had a site visit. Commissioner Flynn, okay.
Yeah, so if you're looking at the photographs in the application, you'll see a great number of windows, and the historical photograph indicates that all of those sashes were dark. Upon visiting the site, it's apparent that roughly half of the windows on the house, and this can vary floor to floor, the sashes are actually a dark color, but they are, for the most part, I would say 80% covered with white storms. And those aluminum storm frames have been painted white. Also, many of the original sashes that would have been a dark color in this photo have also been painted white.
Okay.
So if you're, from a street view, it's actually really hard to tell what is dark colored sash and what has been painted white. The only thing I can tell you is from my visit with the proposed contractor is the middle window on the bottom, and it's the bottom windows that they are proposing to change. Middle window is currently a double hung window, and they are proposing that be replaced with a picture window, and that the two adjacent windows, which are currently single pane glass, so much like a single pane side light, they're proposing to make those double hung windows. And so those are the 6 windows that you see adjacent to the front door. So in other words, the double hung middle will be a picture. The single pane side window will now become a double hung in white vinyl. And we have yet to see, I don't believe, a detailed drawing or example of the proposed replacement.
Proposed changes, okay. Okay, the date of this one is January 21st.
And Commissioner Finn, I just wanted to throw in there, I believe they stated that they were only going to replace just the first floor windows. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
and in those, if you look at the left side of the home, there were, I say the original sashes, they're all original. Some that were, had been painted dark over a period of time. The windows to the left of the front door had no storm frames at all, and all of those sashes had been painted white. The windows to the right of the front door actually had storm windows, the aluminum frame tracked, and the sashes were dark. But again, from the street, it was really hard to tell what was, you really couldn't tell. The storm windows appeared to make the entire window white.
Okay, so when I'm looking at this front door to the left, they're proposing to, of course, none of that is in the application. So I actually think this is, and we know it can be time consuming, but we have to have an accurate application of what the changes are going to be and what they're going to look like, what the rendering is going to be. So,
yes. So Commissioner Walsh, if it says here on the application, no other changes, if they're going from a double hung to a single pane or a picture window, would that be considered a
yes,
change?
it is a change. It's going to be a change in appearance. There's a couple things if they're switching to a picture window or a double hung to a picture window to a single pane and a single pane to a double pane. Yes, those are changes that should have been listed in the proposed changes. No other changes. Sometimes the petitioners think like the size of the whole window or something like that, or if they're going to make some structural change, but it isn't. It's the actual change in appearance as well as any other structural material changes. Who's here speaking on this petition? Oh,
Rick
right. Okay,
Wajanes
Rick.
from Vista Home Improvement.
Thank you. I thought so. You hadn't been.
I was just waiting. No problem.
Okay. All right. So Commissioner Finn, in your opinion, do you think that a white replacement would be under the circumstances of on this property would be an appropriate change? I mean, if say we get agreed on, they showed us what the other design changes are going to be.
Yeah, so I would say visually, you know, would it be historically accurate? No. Would it mimic what you see today from the street? Yes, provided the replacement met our requirements. You know, one of the other, you know, there have been commissioners in the past who might have questioned, you know, is it possible to restore the windows? The answer is yes. It would take a lot of work. The wood itself, the sashes, the trim is all in decent shape. It would require a lot of scraping, sanding, reglazing, but the wood sash themselves are in decent shape. But it would require, you know, a substantial work to get them back to where they once were.
Okay.
But I will tell you from a you know, a white versus dark sash perspective, currently you really can't tell what sashes are dark and what sashes are white.
Are there any other replacement windows in the property already?
Not that I have seen, sir.
I didn't see any.
Okay. I'm just looking at this third floor top, those two windows on the third floor in the color picture make almost look like they're already a white replacement window. But, you know, the picture, obviously, that's not. Okay. I don't, you know, I mean, we have a choice here of motions. We can have a motion to accept the application under hardship. I think we technically should have a more accurate description and rendering of what they're actually going to do and change before I could vote. So if someone makes a motion to vote on the hardship, I'll do that. The other option, again, is a motion to continue to the next hearing date and ask that the petitioner provide more accurate renderings of what the changes to the front windows, because it says no other changes when there actually are other changes. And we've had this issue come up a couple times where we were not quite as careful about the wording in the application and found ourselves kind of having to deal with that.
I think it's on the same street too, Mr. Chair.
It is? Which one am I thinking of? Oh, I was thinking of a different one. Actually. It is. So, so if someone would like, I would to entertain either motion, if someone would like to make one.
Can I make a suggestion? We have the petitioner on the phone. Do you have examples of what you actually propose, at least in terms of a window replacement?
Yeah, so I brought an actual physical window, one of our samples. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. So it looks very similar to what's currently in there. And again, when I was on site, I did let them know, and I just want to make one correction, that on the left side, you are correct that it's currently a picture double hung picture, and I am looking to do the double hung picture double hung, but on the right side, it is currently 3 double hungs. So we're modifying the center of the right, and we're modifying the 3 on the left, is what my partner in the office failed to put on the proposed change. Because I would agree, when we saw the proposed changes, we thought that was for sizing, for structural. We didn't know that you were looking for just that verbiage in there, which obviously is not a problem, because as soon as you and I walked last week, I openly said, like, we're doing you know, the double hung picture, double hung change that was in there.
Okay.
Rick, could you take a picture of that window that you showed us and send it to Alvin for the record?
I absolutely can. Yes.
Yeah, you know, that one appears to be almost like a standard vinyl, white vinyl double hung, which has a lot of white, lose a lot of glass. And then the bottom where it meets is part of the under the guidelines. And I know there are windows that we've approved that have a better, where it meets the sill. So.
That's why we were going for the hardship also. The customer can't afford the brown, the darker color with the more expensive wood window.
Yeah.
Not just the appropriate.
Okay. So is there a motion on the table? No? No motion to continue or motion to approve? Can people hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I would make a motion to have the application re-outlined and revisit this at the March meeting.
Okay, so the motion is to continue?
Yes.
Okay, is there a second on that motion?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion on the motion?
I would just suggest to Rick that if you can send us, that sample and then just re-outline exactly what the changes are, so we're all clear on what that is.
So when you say send you the picture, and then, so do I have to fill out the whole application or just modify the current application?
No, I'm going to work off of this application, but when we take a vote, we need to have more specifics as to what the changes are going to be to the front, what they're going to look like. That's okay that's something that we can put under this application at the next meeting. So you don't have to refile anything. We just have to have, because this is not an accurate application, it says no other changes when there are.
Correct.
We technically couldn't vote on it anyways.
Okay.
We know that, so I'd rather continue and just have you come and clarify.
No problem. I can do that for the next meeting.
Okay, that would be good.
And then I'll get a picture of the window over also.
Yeah, and whatever, if there's some rendering relative to the changes to the left and right of the front door, or just a description so we can see that better. Is the owner going to be on? Is the owner on with us? No.
I had checked to see if they could get on. I do not believe they were able to, as they were working. They were very difficult to schedule with. I can see if they can make the next meeting with me.
Oh yeah, if they're here, that sometimes helps us to figure out what we're going to do next.
Okay.
Okay, so the motion is to continue, and it's been seconded. Commissioner Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Finn,
Yes.
Commissioner McFarland,
Yes.
and Commissioner Walsh is yes. So we'll continue that to the March 4th meeting. And Rick, I think you know what we're looking for. So
I do, sir. Thank you very much. You all have a great night.
okay.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.
Commissioner Walsh,
Yes.
I have a request that we take a matter out of order.
Okay.
2273 Main Street. This was heard prior at the last meeting.
Yeah.
And I just asked that we move it ahead of the new public hearing items.
Okay. No problem with that. Anybody object? What's the address again?
That's 2273 Main Street. It's the preservation agreement.
Brawley Barn.
In my files here, you already put it out of interesting. Okay, we're going to just take this one, this 2273 Main Street application for certificate for work under preservation agreement. We had a site visit there as well. And I found, at least to my understanding and observation, that many of those windows are beyond repair. From the inside, things look good, but a lot of those bottom sashes were, at least some of them were half, 3/4 of the way, destroyed, and it would have to have been a rebuild on many of them. I'm not sure if Commissioner Finn observe the same thing. And so we had, what do I have? Do I have some new information here? Let's see. Okay, the request for the Main Street door renovation replacement be withdrawn until more specific plan is available. Okay, the window request is being amended to note rounded upper portion of first floor windows will have their current grid pattern replicated and affixed to the exterior of the window. Color of the grids will be dark bronze to match the rest of the unit with the current windows. The only impacts 8 of the windows in the replacement request. All other windows will have true divided light in a pattern identical to the current windows. Below is a drawing of the windows being referenced. Let us know if any additional information is required. Okay, does anybody have any questions for the petitioner on this? Nothing, huh? Okay, does the petitioner want to add anything else?
No, it's Bob Ostrander for 2273 Main Street, and I think you have the information there. And like I had mentioned, once we have a specific plan for the doors, we'll come back with that plan. So we're really just addressing the windows today.
Okay. So I would entertain a motion to approve the application for certificate of work under preservation agreement for the windows, and that it just include that the door is not included in the motion.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, let me call the vote. Commissioner Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Finn,
Yes.
Commissioner McFarland,
Yes.
and Commissioner Walsh is yes. Okay, that passes with those improvements. We appreciate those improvements to the plan.
All right.
And hopefully
Thank you.
have good luck with the door, because that door was, it'd be great if it could be saved, and otherwise just, let us know what you want to do and we'll see what we can do.
All right. We would prefer to save it, but I just don't know.
It might be a long shot, but when you see one that has kind of some of that detail, just, if you take a look at it and the potential's there, it'd be great.
Yeah, we'll have to get a very good craftsman to come out and take a look at it.
Okay, well, thank you for trying. Okay, now we have 2 new public hearings. And just remember, for those petitioners for 41 Oakland Street and 477 State Street, we will not be voting today. They are all, the new ones are always continued to the next meeting to allow for public commentary under the guidelines that we're using now. So just get there, Oakland. This is the creation of the All Saints Church Local Historic District.
Oh, dear God.
Okay, what are we looking? Okay, the Historic District Preliminary Study Report of All Saints Church Local Historic District. Mass Historic Commission encourages the city of Springfield to establish a local historic district. Okay, anybody have any questions of the petitioner? Does the petitioner want to, if there's any updates or anything else they'd like to put in front of us?
Well, yes. Can you hear me?
We can, Mr. Hayes. Go ahead, please.
Well, we're proceeding with bringing this building up to code. And We've installed a fire alarm system. The next thing is fire doors and then a sprinkling system. But none of this touches the exterior of the building at all. And we are very cognizant of its historical nature, connected to William Pynchon. And so we're proceeding, and we would like your support for this next move to take it to the city council.
Okay, and we do have a letter of support here from the Springfield Community Preservation Committee.
Yeah, and I'm working on a letter of support from the Library Association and the Carpenters Association are two adjacent neighbors.
Okay. I think it's a great plan. If any commissioners have any questions, I'd entertain a motion to send this, I'm not quite sure how to word it here, but.
Commissioner Walsh, this will be continued till the next meeting.
Oh, this is a continued one, yeah. Sorry about that. That's why I have Alvin. He keeps me in line because we need public commentary. See, I was ready to send it right through. I'd entertain a motion to continue. Before Washington Street. Okay, motion and seconded.
Second.
Second, thank you. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, hearing none, I'll call the roll. Commissioner Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Finn,
Yes.
Commissioner McFarland,
Yes.
and Commissioner Walsh is yes to continue. So we can, to allow for public commentary before we take the vote to for the district, to send the district to the city council. Okay, that's all we can do. So we'll, any commentary, we'll bring it up at the next meeting and we'll have a vote then. All right, now we have 477 State Street. Alvin, update me on where we are. Didn't we already have a?
I'm sorry, what's the question?
Well, I don't know what the question is yet,
Okay.
because I thought we had discussed a couple of these in a previous meeting.
Yeah, so what the process is that the petitioner has to bring it to you guys for you guys to suggest whether or not to create a district. And
Okay, that's what we did last time.
if you guys make that suggestion, then a report has to be made and then sent to Mass Historic. So
Okay.
that process has already gone through. So that the report was sent to Mass Historic. Mass Historic gave their recommendations of approval. So after 60 days, we then have to hold a public hearing before we can send it off to City Council.
Okay,
Final
I got it.
approval.
It's just the whole same discussion happens twice. It kind of sounds familiar. So, okay, so that's where we are. This one is another to make another local historic district and open it up for public commentary. So I would entertain a motion to continue at 477 State Street to allow for public.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Wolf. I would just give a little bit of background on this matter, just for the public to, when they're viewing, that they can hear what this matter pertains to.
Okay, you're keeping me in line big time today.
Or you could have the petitioner is on the call, so he can give a little
Oh,
background.
well, the petitioner wants to jump in and give us I do have a summary sheet here, but it's fairly lengthy. If you would like to jump in and tell us about your proposal, it'd be great.
Well, the proposal stems from a request from a funding source to create a historic district and develop Springfield's intent and has completed stabilization. This bill 477 State, as you all are probably aware, is known as the gun block. And we had a stabilization project that finished right before the end of last calendar year. And now we are looking at local developers to take the project to completion. So we respectfully submitted this application to create the local historic district around the property.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you, Alvin, that you think I should put into the record here regarding this report? I mean,
I believe there is a letter from the Community Preservation Committee as well.
there is. It is right here. Let me put that in the record. Dear Springfield Historic Commission, 70 Tapley Street, Springfield, Mass. Springfield Historic Commission public hearing February 18th and March 4th, 2021 regarding the gun block. Dear Commissioners, I'm writing in support of the creation of a local historic district for the gun block at 477 State Street. As Chair of Springfield Community Preservation Committee, which administers the Community Preservation Act in the city, the gun block is a recipient of CPA funds for assistance to stabilize a deteriorated structure. One of the CPA's eligible activities is aiding historic resources. The SCPC requires the exterior of any historic resource being assisted with CPA funds to be permanently protected. The gun block at 477 State Street is one of the oldest commercial blocks in Springfield and is on the National Register of Historic Places as part of the Gunn and Hubbard blocks. As a condition of the grant, the Community Preservation Committee requires a grantee to take steps to ensure that the exterior of the building is protected in the future. I hope you'll favorably support this application. Karen F. Lee, Administrative Consultant, Springfield Community Preservation Committee. Just gonna, okay. All right, well, I'd entertain a motion to continue to the March 4th meeting.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Let me just call the vote. Commissioner Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Finn,
Yes.
Commissioner McFarland,
Yes.
and Commissioner Walsh is yes to continue to March 4th. All right.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Good night.
Okay, so we have two other matters before the commission. One is 36 Bellevue, chimney and roof repairs. It's an application for certificate of non-applicability. The exterior repair, including chimney, will be replicated to the same dimensions and standards as the October 2015 record shows. There will be no changes.
So again, I just brought this before you guys just to ensure that you guys feel comfortable with non-applicability. But it sounds like the chimney, tree fell on the chimney as well as the roof and knocked over the chimney and damaged portions of the roof. So before I signed off on it, I just want to ensure that the commission is fine with the category of non-applicability.
Okay. Well, I have no issue with non-applicability, but I'd entertain a motion for a vote on whether we considered it non-applicable.
And the petitioner is here for the matter, or the contractor, if you need any specifics for him on the project.
Well, it's fairly clear. Okay, the same dimensions and standard as October 2015 record shows. There'll be no changes. You know, the 2015 record, when I look at that, it actually looks like maybe that's been altered sometime in the past. But if they're replicating what was there, then it's not applicable. In the same, you know, there's no change in material or their design or anything like that. I believe that's non-applicability. So I'd entertain a motion to accept the application for certificate of non-applicability.
So moved.
Come on, guys. Second. Beautiful. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Commissioner Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Finn,
Yes.
Commissioner McFarland,
Yes.
And Commissioner Walsh is yes. So we'll issue them a certificate of non-applicability for that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, and next is section 106 review. This says 830 Liberty. Okay, let's see what we have. This is a T-Mobile. I don't know if anybody got a chance to look over the information they gave us. Who is anybody on board for? Is it here for this?
No, this is just coming to you guys' attention. If you guys require more detail, if you require someone to come speak on behalf of this, I can reach out to, I believe it's T-Mobile.
Yes, it is.
But
I didn't have.
This property was surveyed. It's not within a historic district. It does not have a historic designation, but it was surveyed. So there is an inventory form on Macris.
Okay. I just unfortunately didn't have a chance to really go through the pictures. I wish there was a close-up picture of the building. There's a rendering, but a picture would be.
Give me one minute. I'll see if I can pull up something for you.
In the packet, they're showing 802 Liberty, 830 Liberty, 840 Liberty. Are those, I'm assuming those are existing towers, and that's what they're proposing to put on the new structure?
Yeah, so they currently have antennas up there currently, and I guess they're looking to add more. So either they're adding more or they're replacing what they have. I'm not sure, but they're making a change.
All right. This is modification on the 51-foot building above reference address, requesting comments with regards to any potential impacts on historic architecture and archaeological resources. This project is federal undertaking regulated by the Federal Communication Commission and is being reviewed under Section 106 of the National Historic Preservation Act. Yeah, they're just looking for commentary. If you can find it, I wish we had an actual picture of what it looks like from the street right now.
It's in the packet.
Oh, I don't have one in my packet. There's a picture there's an aerial view and then there's a rendering.
The online PDF that Alvin sent out has.
Oh, there's a picture there?
Has Google Pictures.
I'm gonna share my screen. Give me
Okay, I don't have that in front of me. Hopefully he'll put that in front of me shortly.
Okay, so you guys can
There you
see.
go.
Oh, my.
So again, this is near the intersection.
I think the
of,
next one down is 830.
Liberty and Crew.
Yeah, I know the
I
building.
mean, this is all the same building. It just the
There you
address.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it can get any more.
It's gonna poke your eye out, but there's already two there, so it's
Yeah,
not.
there's already multiple there. Yeah, I actually don't have an issue with it. You would think they could make something prettier than that, though. Does anybody have any commentary on this? I mean, it's got 4 corners already. No, I'm hearing a whole lot of nothing. So,
In the rendering, are they adding panels to each side, or are they gonna build on the missing corner?
get back to that page. It still is showing only 3 sides. It almost looks like. Let me see.
I mean, the building's tall and skinny, so they kind of poke your eye out, but
Yeah, they sure do.
they're already there, so
But
it's not like.
the rendering doesn't make it look much different. It almost looks like it's gonna be the same. It says existing and proposed. And that's not showing any difference really.
So maybe they're just replacing what's there.
Yeah,
It could be.
I mean, I'd have to read this whole thing to find that out. This is just modifications.
Is there a way to get some clarity on that?
We can request that.
I'm not, yeah, you know what, why not? They're looking for commentary, why don't we just request?
Yeah.
If there's, if what the exact visual difference.
Yeah, it's unclear what the change is gonna be.
Yeah, I mean, it's already hideous, but
Yeah, that is hideous, that's the word I was looking for.
yeah, if it's
And I know
more,
Trying not to go that far.
I know the building, but you know, they've got them up there, so if it's
Right.
gonna look the same, then we really have nothing to say.
right.
Um,
If there's 12 more, that could be an issue.
Right, that's right, could be. And I don't, they're not showing it like it is. It looks, showing it more like it's gonna be replaced, but let's get that clarified.
Okay.
And,
Right, well, it could be, those 3 could be replaced with 12 more.
right, or the ones up there could be replaced on something that looks the same, but they're new antennas, you know, yeah. And I know we don't need a vote for you to go back and say to them, we need more information.
Yep.
So if you would do that, that would be great.
Sure.
And,
So that concludes the meeting. If you guys want to
yeah,
vote to conclude, we did want to keep you guys on just for just a moment.
yeah, if you want, if you want to, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn, but to stay on after for a second, not relative to commission business. So all
I
in
make a
favor?
motion to adjourn.
Okay, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're adjourned.